What's up, y'all? Today, we're going to get into, well, it's often called a lot of things: quad squats, narrow squats, toe squats, heel elevated squats. But at the end of the day, it's a squat that targets your vastus medialis VMO. And so it's a narrow stanced heel elevated squat. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up on the Bosu. You can use a plank is preferable, something sturdy, a wedge. But here I'm using the edge of a Bosu. And what this does is it teaches us a couple different things that we're going to be working on. We have to learn how to properly use our ankles and press and pull through the floor properly. We have to learn how to squeeze and activate our adductors, squeeze that vastus medialis on the top of the quad. There are a lot of advantages to working in this position as well, as it can teach us how to practice how to work on pelvic tilt, internally rotating the femur, a lot of big fancy things. So let's get this looking really good. So I'm going to inhale as I come down, focus on pulling into my toes, trying to sit up nice and straight. I don't want to rush this. I want to practice learning how to flex my knees. So that's when we're talking about the vastus medialis, we're talking about that muscle, the big one next to the kneecap, and it helps with tracking. So it helps the patella to track. So we want to practice trying to flex our knees, sit up nice and tall, and squeeze our inner thighs, learning how to use our pelvic floor more and more. And I think that's the real key here, is learning how to use our pelvic floor. So let's take a look at this from the side so we can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So it's almost going to look like I'm tucking my butt here as I'm working on this. And that's because I'm doing a good job at the moment of learning how to press my glutes in the floor, but I'm not sitting up straight enough, and I'm not squeezing and activating my quads and using my pelvic floor enough. So what you're going to see is the position kind of get a little more and more upright as I start to work on those things as well. And you'll see I reach through my lats, I'm stretching, and then see we're just not quite as rounded, a little more upright. So when you're working on this exercise, it's important to understand how to improve upon the position so that you can get a more effective contraction on those quads. So as I'm doing this, it makes it so squeezing the knee is just that much better. Okay, and then let's get into a last little part here. So the nitty gritty. So I've talked about this view, toilet stall view, my favorite, but I digress. So grab the floor with your toes, squeeze your ankles together. Okay, I'm actually going to start, if you could pan up, you could see I'm starting with a really small squat, but I want to pay attention and make sure that I can feel both of my toes and ankles are working as I start this motion. So that's why as you start, you might be a little rounded and then slowly try to improve upon your position. So work on grounding into the floor first and then try to focus on trying to sit up more straight. It's kind of the same concept of you have to learn how to crawl before you can learn how to walk. So there's a lot of stuff in this one. This is a super advanced move. You shouldn't be trying this unless you are prepared. So, all right, y'all. Coach Wood, Tutorial Fitness. Know better, do better, feel better. Peace.